Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from the Pacific Northwest region. Thank you for joining us for Start Here Small Business 101 webinar, originally presented September 9th of 2025. Please find the accompanying workbook to help you through this journey. My name is Dominique Meeks from the city of Redmond, and today I have the pleasure to be joined by Lauren Nichols-Card from the International Rescue Committee and Dayo Oyetunga from the Small Business Development Center. Some disclaimers before we get started: what this webinar is, what this webinar is not, and who this webinar is for. This webinar is a short and brief 10-slide overview with basic definitions and resources as far as it pertains to Finance 101. What this webinar is not an in-depth deep dive about finances. It is not long form, and it is not a how to attract VCs. However, please feel free to reach out to our partners at Startup 425 who can point you in the right direction for that resource. This webinar is for early idea stage businesses or startups, for new businesses, and businesses looking to grow/change. The first question we think every small business should ask is, why are you looking for financing? To assist you, we wanted to identify some of the top reasons businesses might be seeking financing. For example, working capital, which typically involves paying employees or reimbursing them for an owner's investment, equipment purchases, inventory financing, business expansion, or debt refinancing or consolidation. These are just a few reasons a business might be looking into financing. And with that, I'll pass it to Lauren with 3 easy rules.
As we mentioned at the beginning, this webinar is a short and simple overview of small business funding. In the workbook that goes along with this session, you'll find a small business funding needs assessment tool. It's designed to help you think more deeply about your readiness to take on business capital. But since we're keeping things brief today, we'll focus on just 3 easy rules to guide your funding journey. Rule number 1, know your numbers. Start with a clear and realistic amount in mind. When you know exactly how much funding you need, it helps potential funders assess risk and offer the right kind of support. Being specific shows you've done your homework, and that builds trust. Rule number 2, have a clear use for the money. This helps determine the best type of funding and the right lender for your needs. Also, make sure your plan is feasible. Loans take time and effort to secure, so if you're facing an emergency, you might need to explore other options. Rule number 3, show you can repay. Transparency matters. Funders want to see that your business is financially healthy and that you can repay the loan. And here's something important to consider. When you repay your loan, it helps lenders continue supporting other small businesses in your community. Most community-based lenders especially care about responsible lending. They don't want to put you in a situation where repaying a loan means sacrificing your personal needs. Now, let's talk about some of the different types of capital available to small businesses. These are also listed in the accompanying workbook under the glossary of terms. Personal savings means using your own money to start or grow your business. It often involves starting small, but it helps you build a strong foundation without taking on additional debt. Friends and family. This involves borrowing money from people you know. It's usually informal, but it can be risky if you don't clearly discuss and agree on terms ahead of time. Microloans are small, flexible loans offered by special programs or organizations. They're often designed for startups, microbusinesses, or specific communities. These loans are typically granted by Community Development Financial Institutions, or CDFIs. Examples of local CDFIs include Business Impact Northwest, Craft 3, and the IRC's Center for Economic Opportunity. Bank loans are larger amounts of money with stricter requirements. You'll usually need to repay monthly and with interest. These loans are best suited for businesses with strong financial records and clear repayment plans. A credit line is a flexible loan that lets you borrow money as needed up to a set limit. You can repay and reuse the credit, which makes it useful for managing cash flow. Grants are often considered the best kind of funding, free money that you don't have to pay back. They usually come from government agencies or special interest groups. However, grants are highly competitive and not always available. Crowdfunding means raising money from people who support your ideas. For example, Kickstarter is a popular online platform where you can launch a fundraising campaign and reach a wide audience. It's a great way to build community support while raising capital for your business. And then to leave you with a tip, don't just chase the biggest loan. Take your time to explore your options and resources and find the funding that best fits your business stage and ultimate goals.
Thank you, Lauren. The basics of record keeping. Record keeping is the foundation of being lender ready. Open a business account, track your income and expenses, save your receipts, and review your numbers on a monthly basis. Think of it like brushing your teeth. Small habits that prevent big problems later on. And to help you get started, we've provided a workbook with resources you can use as a reference as you put these steps into practice. Now, financial terms you should know. Money has its own language, and knowing a few basics makes a big difference. Revenue is what you bring in, expenses are what you spend, and profit is what's left. Cash flow is the money rhythm in and out of your business. Your credit score is your trust rating. Collateral is what you pledge, and interest is the cost of borrowing. When you know these terms, you can speak confidently with lenders. What you can do next. Here are some simple next steps you can take right now. Open a business account. Pick a way to track your money and start building your money team today. Get clear on why you need funding and learn about the capital options that fit your stage. And remember, you don't have to do this all alone. Book a no-cost session with your SBDC advisor and use the workbook we've provided as your go-to guide for applying these steps. Just focus on the next steps. And finally, getting lender ready isn't about doing everything at once. It's about taking the next step with the right tools and support. You now have the workbook as a reference, and the SBDC team is here to guide you along your way. Thank you.